Hawaii, a tropical getaway, a land of beautiful beaches, a cultural oasis. But thriving beneath this utopia is a breeding ground for some of the toughest fighters in mixed martial arts. Now, two champions storm these islands in a clash for absolute supremacy. Ninja Hua, Elite XC's first middleweight champion, aggressive in style and an expert in shoot-a-box fighting.
Ninja Hua walks.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler, the icon middleweight title holder, brings his barbaric anything-goes militant technique. When champion battles champion, it'll hit with the force of a Category 5 hurricane. Plus, Jake Shields, Gina Carano, Nick Diaz, and Joey Villasenor will rain thunderous blows in the cage. Tonight, paradise is lost and becomes a battlefield for elite extreme combat. When it comes to the Hawaiian Islands, beautiful barely describes what Mother Nature has created. Rising from the ocean floor with volcanic eruptions, this tourist mecca is simply paradise on Earth. Gorgeous scenery, breathtaking sights. This fantasy backdrop is a setting for a mixed martial arts explosion. From the Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, get ready for Elite XC Uprising. The well-traveled Murilo Ninja Hua has the honor of being the first ever Elite XC champion. Back in June, a stunning TKO over Smoke and Joe Villasenor landed this affable Brazilian the middleweight crown. And whether it's concussive knockouts or slick submissions, Ninja's fights always keep you on the edge of your seat. His opponent, icon sport middleweight champion Ruthless Robbie Lawler, has fought some of the biggest names in the world of mixed martial arts. He possesses devastating punching power, and he prefers to finish his fights with sleep-inducing strikes. Tonight's main event promises to be just like the volcano Kilauea on the big island of Hawaii. The eruption will definitely happen. The only question is when. Aloha, everyone, and away we go. I'm Renato coming to you from Honolulu, Hawaii. This 50th state in the Union may have been the last to join the USA, but when it comes to mixed martial arts, Hawaii's fighting history rivals anywhere on Earth. Tonight, for the first time ever, every major promotion on the islands have come together under the Elite XC banner. And in our main event, it will be champion versus champion. And speaking of champions, pleased to be joined once again by well-known sports and entertainment personality, Bill Goldberg. And Bill, when you take a look at the main event, what excites you the most?
What excites me the most about the main event is that they're both young, aggressive fighters who are out to prove to be the best in the world in their weight class. When you think of Ninja, you think shoot-a-box, a camp that produces some of the most well-rounded and exciting fighters in the world. He's a pride veteran who's not afraid of the pressure, and to him, this championship means everything. Lawler's case, you're also looking at another well-rounded fighter who's a product of the militant camp, and whose biggest asset is his punching power. Tonight is a chance for him to revalidate himself as an MMA superstar.
Good stuff, Bill. Also pleased to welcome to his first Elite XC telecast, my Show XC partner, the fight professor, Stephen Quadros. And Stephen, this being the biggest night in Hawaiian mixed martial arts history, why don't you please set the stage for the rest of the card?
We have a battle of super grapplers. We're out to show why a ground fight is equally as exciting as a stand-up match. The face of women's MMA meeting her toughest challenge in a true clash of styles, a middleweight contender fighting for survival, and the Elite XC debut of one of the greatest welterweights in the sport. Moral, the mixture of fighting styles and personalities is why MMA is so compelling.
It promises to be a night of fireworks and dynamite, an all-star night of mixed martial arts. We can expect an MMA meltdown here tonight on Showtime. In the main event, the Elite XC middleweight champion Murilo Ninja Hua goes against Icon Sport middleweight kingpin Ruthless Robbie Lawler. In a battle of 160-pounders, the enigmatic Nick Diaz will square off with Hawaii's own Iron Mike Aina. We could see some dynamite in the distaff division as the unbeaten Gina Carano battles Tonya Evinger. It will be middleweights in action as Smokin' Joe Villasenor goes toe-to-toe with Riki Fukuda. And we will open the night with what could be a grappling classic. Jake Shields versus Renato Verissimo. We're here in Utopia, Honolulu, Hawaii, with beautiful sights at every turn as Elite XC proudly presents Uprising. The local flavor combined with an enthusiastic crowd of mixed martial arts fans makes this scene truly electric. All right, we're getting set for the first fight of the night at a contracted weight of 175 pounds. Jake Shields takes on Renato Verissimo. Verissimo is one of the most respected jiu-jitsu practitioners in all of MMA. While his incredible submission skills speak for themselves, the majority of his wins have come via his striking. The transplanted Brazilian who now calls Hawaii his home is known as Charuto or Cigar. Well, he hopes to light up Jake Shields tonight.
Renato Charuto Verissimo, welterweight, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
There gets the takedown.
All my friends now, one is a doctor, another one is a judge, and I'm a professional fighter. It's part of my life and part of my soul. I would love to fight guys like Jake Shields. I'm a jiu-jitsu fighter, but I might bring something that he's not able to see yet. It's the two schools, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu against the Novo União Jiu-Jitsu. He's a good wrestler. I'm a good guard, bottom kind of guy. It's gonna be the chess game that I think people wanted to see it. It's something that, stay with you, man. When I tell my kids, that I've been part of something that's really cool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the cage, please welcome Renato Charuto Verissimo.
Guys, Charuto Verissimo really put himself on the MMA map in his UFC debut back in January of 2004 when he defeated former UFC welterweight champion Carlos Newton. And Bill, tonight he's hoping to make an equally big splash in his Elite XC debut.
All you got to do is look at Charuto's accomplishments. He's exceptional on the ground, but his hands are extremely underrated. And my question to you, Steve, is could this matchup go against logic and become a stand-up war?
It may, but I believe it's going to go to the ground. But the irony is that Renato is a black belt under Andre Pederneiras, yet most of his fights end with punches.
Verissimo's opponent tonight, Jake Shields, has been a champion everywhere he's fought. In Japan for the Shudo organization, and yes, even right here in Hawaii for Rumble on the Rock. This grappling guru is looking tonight to secure his status as a top 10 fighter.
Jake Shields, welterweight, San Francisco, California. I had a good amount of fights when I was younger, Luckily I found professional fighting and didn't need to get in street fights anymore. I just think, I'm fighting because I love fighting. You see some guys, they get a little banged up and all of a sudden they're quitting, and that's not me. I'm gonna go out there and fight. It doesn't matter if I'm bloody, broken nose, broken hand, I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm not gonna make some excuse and pull out of there. I'm out there to win. Charuto is a very top-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, one of the best in the world. Ton of respect for the guy. I'm gonna come to his hometown and beat him. After I beat Charuto, I plan on taking the Elite XC belt and taking my third world title.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. Please welcome Jake Shields.
Jake Shields started wrestling at the tender age of 9, and for the last 2 decades, he's been racking up the accolades. He was a 2-time All-American wrestler in college, a 3-time Grappler's Quest champion, and he even placed 3rd in his weight class at the prestigious Abu Dhabi Submissions Tournament in 2005. That's all fine and dandy, but it's his overall MMA game that could very well lead to his greatest success.
You talk about success, this guy has had a lot of success right here in Hawaii. In fact, most notably, winning not 1, but 2 fights in one night to capture the Rumble of the Rock welterweight belt. Also, guys, let's not forget, tonight he represents the first family of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And that name is Gracie because Jake is a brown belt under Cesar Gracie. The criticism used to be that Jake's fights always went the distance, but he dispelled that by finishing his last 3 opponents.
Let's take a closer look at these 2 fighters who will be duking it out at a contracted weight of 175 pounds. Shields is 6 years younger than Verissimo. He's 2 inches shorter. He weighed in at 175.25 pounds, while Verissimo came under the 175-pound weight limit at 173.25. Of course, we talked about Shields' wrestling pedigree, also a jiu-jitsu brown belt as mentioned under Cesar Gracie, and for Verissimo, it's all about the BJJ. The rules of combat for Elite XC. All bouts will be fought under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. 3 judges score the fight based equally on striking, grappling, effective aggression, and cage control. Rounds are scored on a 10-point must system. The winner of each round receives 10 points, the loser 9 or less. No knees to the head of a grounded opponent, and only the referee can stop the fight. We are ready to kick off Elite XC Uprising. Here is your cage announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to Blaisdell Arena here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, as Elite XC presents Uprising, a big night of mixed martial arts action coming your way and made possible by Rockstar Energy Drink and Hunter World Markets. Well, fans, this bout coming away is a special attraction. Scheduled 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing to you our judges scoring from cage side, all from Hawaii. We have Richie Kabinian, Mike Onzuka, and Kyle Takao. And introducing to you our 3rd man in the cage, our referee in charge of the action, Mario Yamasaki. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 6 feet 1 inch. He weighed in at 173.25 pounds. Specializing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, his record stands at 8 wins, 4 losses, with 6 of his wins coming by way of knockout and 1 by submission. Fighting out of Penn's Training and Fitness Center from Hilo, Hawaii, by way of Rio de Janeiro. Please welcome Renato Charuto Verissimo. And his opponent across the cage on my right, fighting out of the red corner, standing 5 feet 11. He weighed in at 175.25 pounds. He's a mixed martial artist joining us in the disciplines of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. His record stands at 18 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw, with 2 knockouts and 6 submissions to his credit. He represents Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Please welcome the former Rumble on the Rock and Shudo champion from San Francisco, California, introducing Jake Shields. Once again, a referee in charge is Mario Yamasaki, now to give instructions. Once again, 3 5-minute rounds scheduled.
There you go, Charuto. I already talked to you about the rules. You guys have any questions? No? All right, I want you guys to follow my orders at all times, okay? Do a clean fight. All right, touch glove.
It was Reginald Kenneth Dwight who put it best. Saturday night's all right for fighting, and what better place than Honolulu, Hawaii for Elite XC Uprising, the first bout of the night at a contracted weight of 175 pounds. And Renato Verissimo and Jake Shields ready to get it on.
Here we go, first round. You ready? Are you ready? Let's go, come on!
Shields is riding a 7-fight winning streak, coming off a destruction of Ito Periante at Dynamite USA earlier this summer. In Los Angeles' Memorial Coliseum, Verissimo coming off a win in March. TK over Lars Haven. Again, gentlemen, we talked about it in the pre-fight meetings. They said they wanted to engage in a bit of stand-up. When you have their pedigree, Steven, you definitely want to see something happen on the ground.
Yes, you do, and we're about to see that now. Ceruto gets the first takedown into the open guard of Jake Shields, who is standing back up now.
A great job for Shields to bring it back to his feet. Very technical fighters when it comes to the grappling. Of course, we talked about Jake Shields, over 650 wrestling-type matches in his young career. Started at the age of 9. Verissimo, of course, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Yeah, you remember the Coliseum fight, the June 2nd Dynamite fight, and the interview with Jake Shields. The only thing that I remember is he said that he wanted to be a much more exciting fighter. You wonder if that's going to take him out of his game.
I think that Jake is one of the rare birds in the wrestling world who's been able to transition into a good submission fighter.
And a nice takedown there by Shields, with Verissimo looking to pull guard into the close guard now. And he has Shields' right arm momentarily neutralized. Of course, he wants to control his posturing attempts here as Shields rains down some body shots.
Verissimo is using a closed guard, but he opens it up really quick. But Jake knows that because Jake works out on a daily basis with Nick Diaz, David Terrell, and Gilbert Melendez. So he's going to see everything that he's already seen in the gym.
And Bill, you see Shields trying to crab walk Verissimo to the cage, utilizing or looking to utilize the fence as an ally.
Yeah, no question. It's amazing when you look at both of these guys on the ground, even though they're two totally different types of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you wonder who's going to end up on top.
Shields lands a nice elbow strike from the guard, an active guard by Verissimo, and he's doing a good job of staying busy from the bottom.
He is, but he's got to be careful because Shields has gravity on his side, and one elbow can spoil the whole fight if it cuts Verissimo.
And of course, you see now, Shields is on his feet back into the guard, looking to improve his position, but a solid guard here by Verissimo, but again, eating some of those elbows from Shields as we reach the midway point of round number 1, scheduled for 3.
One thing that's amazing when you look at Ceruto is that he only has one win by submission. It's amazing to look at his credentials and to think that.
And he's going for the Kimura right now. Shields very cognizant of that, however, looking to pull out his arm and escaping harm's way.
Shields is going to want to pull that left leg out, and he did just that. Now he's got side control. The Kimura has shut down, but Verissimo is really working hard to get that guard again.
Against the fence, working with the half guard now of Ceruto Verissimo.
Jake's working very, very hard to get that full mount, and there he goes.
Achieved the full mount, and this could be trouble for Verissimo. Jake Shields, the wrestler, now looking maybe going for a can opener. What's he doing here? Nope, just looking to
No, he was looking to control the head because he's going to pick his shot. The mount is going to really favor Jake here because if Verissimo wants to buck and roll, he's got the fence to prevent that.
And he's going to give up his back here. Now just eating some ground and pound is Verissimo. Jake Shields opening up. He said he wanted to be an exciting fighter, looking to stop this fight in the first round in exciting fashion. How much more is the referee, Mario Yamazaki, going to allow Ceruto to absorb?
Elbows from Shields. That is a different fighter.
Ceruto motion, and Jake Shields defeats Renato Verissimo. And for Ceruto, it wasn't even close. There is no cigar. Jake Shields doing a tremendous job of taking care of the BJJ veteran.
Disaster started once Jake Shields got into the mounted position. He started letting go with punches. I don't even know how many punches that was, 30, 40, 50 punches. Kept going until the referee had no choice because Ceruto could not neutralize the position without turning his back. And there's BJ Penn embracing Jake Shields on a big win.
Shields defeating one of BJ Penn's prized pupils. In fact, Verissimo was BJ Penn's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainer. And Jake Shields receiving congratulations as well from Gary Shaw. A great performance, now riding his win streak to 8.
Okay, early in the round, Jake Shields got Verissimo up against the fence, which really, really hurt Verissimo as far as options to roll away from this position.
We talked about it being an ally for Shields, and it proved to be, even though he really just kept him in that area where Verissimo wasn't able to use his active guard as much.
Yeah, because Verissimo, the only option he's got is to roll to the right. But here it is. He's jackhammering the right hand, and Verissimo could turn and roll, but he didn't want to do that because he would have gotten choked out. And Verissimo, he just doesn't know what to do here. Look at his leg movement.
Well, he's definitely not defending intelligently, that's for sure.
Yeah, Jake Shields was in complete control. Verissimo got outclassed. Verissimo is grimacing in pain, but there's a lot of pride involved in this match because both these guys are jiu-jitsu men, but it was the wrestling jiu-jitsu man in Jake Shields standing up now who got the win via grounded pound.
Here's Jimmy Lennon Jr. with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 4 minutes in round number 1. A referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki, stops the contest due to strikes. He is the winner by way of technical knockout, Jake Shields.
Jake Shields increases his winning streak to 8-0. He's 2-0 under the Elite XC banner, and he's with Bill Goldberg right now.
Beautiful fight, Jake. You know, I remember the Dynamite show. You talked about being a more exciting fighter.
Yep.
That was some damn exciting stuff right there. Initially, you wanted to stand up. You took him to the ground, got the dominant position. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, it's well, first I want to say Shrew is one of my favorite fighters. Inside and out the ring, I have a tremendous respect for him. It was actually hard to get myself motivated to fight him like so much, but once I went in here, I was out here trying to hurt him, obviously. And that's what I did. You know, I went and brought the pressure. I wanted to stand more, but kind of my instincts took over. I shot, came back up. He ended up taking me down, so I got back to my feet, took him down. And then from there, it took him in to pass his guard because I imagine everyone in Hawaii already knows this is by far one of the best jiu-jitsu people in the whole world. So finally, once I got past, though, I knew that's a golden opportunity on someone like Shrudo.
No doubt.
Getting mount on him is not something easy to do, so I just unloaded. I wanted the fight to end right there in the first round.
You wanted this fight for a long time, man. Let's look at the replay and talk us through it, my friend.
Well, you know, I was on mount, like I said, I took advantage of it, and I just kept punching and punching and punching, knowing if he didn't get out of there and do something to defend himself, the ref was going to stop it or he's going to get knocked out, so I just kept going, and finally the ref intervened. That was the end of the fight.
Team Gracie gets their hand raised against BJ Penn's organization tonight. Congratulations. We have a presentation over here. Now here's JD Penn of Elite XC and president of Rumble World Entertainment with a presentation to our winner, Jake Shields.
I want to present to Jake Shields an Elite XC plaque. It was a great fight. I mean, when you first came down for the Rumble on the Rock, you won the first Rumble on the Rock World Championship belt, the welterweight belt, and I wanted to say thank you, and you deserve it. Awesome fight, for real.
Let's hear it for Jake Shields!
I love you guys in Hawaii. My favorite place is to fight, but sorry, Nick's going to do some ass kicking too, so.
You got it, man. For Jake Shields, everybody.
Verissimo received more hits than the show.com website. In the final minute of the first round, Jake Shields picks up the TKO victory here at Elite XC Uprising. We are set for middleweight action. It's going to be Smokin' Joe Villasenor versus Riki Fukuda. Fukuda's won his last 4 fights. His training regimen has been a peripatetic one. In the last year, he's trained with the American Kickboxing Academy in San Jose, Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, and with Team Grabaka in his native Japan. Tonight, we will find out if those frequent flyer miles add up to victory.
Riki Fukuda, middleweight, Tokyo, Japan.
I understand this is a big opportunity for me and it's a big chance in my fighting career. I understand Villasenor is a very experienced fighter. I will not let this opportunity pass me by. Back in 2002, I was just a straight wrestler. Now, I feel like I'm a well-rounded fighter. I'm well known a little, but I definitely came to America to fight to make my name well known. I will give it my all, 110%. So come watch and don't blink.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the cage, please welcome Japan's Riki Fukuda.
Hailing from the land of the rising sun, a victory over the always game Smokin' Joe Villasenor. Would definitely see Riki Fukuda's star rise in MMA. But guys, don't go asking him about his social life. This guy lives, eats, and breathes combat sports.
You know, Mauro, Fukuda's a great wrestler, solid takedown ability, also possesses a very active and unorthodox stand-up game. Steve, my question to you again, can Fukuda send shockwaves through the MMA community by upsetting the veteran Villasenor?
Oh, well, he surely wants to send shockwaves through Joe's chin. Fukuda's laid-back personality is the opposite of his fighting style, which is aggressive and brutal.
See Juanito Ibarra, of course, the trainer of Quinton Rampage Jackson. Big win for him last weekend over Dan Henderson. Now Fukuda's opponent, striking machine, Smokin' Joe Villasenor, had his eyes on the first Elite XC title back on June 22nd versus Ninja Hua. In that fight, the first round was a battle, but Hua scored the TKO win in round 2. Tonight, a rejuvenated Joe has plans to get back on the winning track and reestablish himself as a contender for the middleweight crown.
Smokin' Joe Villasenor, middleweight, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I put so much pressure on myself to be a world champ. I think I kind of got away from what brought me here, and what brought me here was earning respect. Just had a title fight with Pro Elite, Elite XC, and I think that I'm getting there with my career. Riki might have that young fire, you know, he might, man, this is his fight right here. This is what puts him on the map, you know? Well, I'm that seasoned vet. Right now, I don't care about a championship. I don't care about a belt. What I care about is avenging my losses and showing these guys what I'm made of and earning my respect.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us to the red corner, please welcome Smokin' Joe Villasenor.
Smokin' Joe Villasenor, a product of the highly respected Greg Jackson camp in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's hoping that the punches, the knees, the strikes will be raining down on Riki Fukuda tonight. He was a perfect 16-0 as an amateur boxer with 15 wins, coming by way of knockout. But as he found out in his last fight, Bill, MMA is much more unpredictable than the sweet science.
Yeah, like you said, as evidenced by his TKO loss to Ninja, man, in his last fight. The disappointing loss aside, though, the tools that brought Villasenor to the dance are his combination punching skills, quick hands, and his aggressive style.
One of the knocks on Joe is that he's good at many things, but not great in any one area. But tonight, Villasenor has got to be great at defending punches if he wants to avoid a repeat of his last fight.
Here's the tale of the tape for this upcoming middleweight tilt. Smokin' Joe Villasenor is 5 years older than his Japanese opponent. Both of them are 6 feet tall. Both of them weighed in at 185 pounds and similar backgrounds. Boxing and submission for Villasenor, wrestling and kickboxing for Riki Fukuda. Time once again to hear the golden pipes of Jimmy Lennon Jr.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Elite XC presents middleweights in the cage in about scheduled 3 5-minute rounds and made possible by Rockstar Energy Drink. And at this time, we present our third man to the cage, our referee in charge of the bout, Steve Mazzagatti. All right, fans, here we go. Introducing to you first, on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 6 feet even, he weighed in at 185 pounds. Trained in the disciplines of wrestling and kickboxing, his record stands at 8 wins, 2 losses, with 5 of his wins coming by way of knockout and 1 by submission. Fighting out of Killer Bees from Tokyo, Japan, please welcome Riki Fukuda. And his opponent across the cage. On my right, fighting out of the red corner, also standing 6 feet even, he weighed in at 185 pounds as well. Specializing in the disciplines of boxing and submission wrestling, his record stands at 23 wins, 6 losses, with 10 wins coming by way of knockout and 10 by submission. Representing Jackson Submission Fighting from Albuquerque, New Mexico, introducing Smokin' Joe Villasenor. Once again, the referee in charge is Steve Mazzagatti.
All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. We all expect a good, clean, fair fight. You need to obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Hook 'em up. Good luck.
We are set for this middleweight contest. Riki Fukuda hasn't lost in over a year. Has gone 4-0 since then. Has moved to the United States, as we mentioned. In fact, has the New York badass Phil Baroni in his corner, and definitely becoming best friends with the NYBA.
And speaking of the New York badass, there's no question Villasenor has the experience. But Quadros, you and I, excuse me, you and I were talking on the way over. And what did you say about Fukuda and having the New York badass in his corner?
Fukuda probably goes to war in sparring with Phil Baroni, who arguably has the heaviest hands in the division. And if he can hang with Phil, he's probably going to have a little bit of an advantage in this fight if it goes to a slug out.
Fukuda looks for the takedown early, secures it on Villasenor. Of course, Baroni's MMA future hanging in the balance as he has a hearing with the Nevada State Athletic Commission coming up in October.
This is a very pivotal match for both of these guys, gentlemen. Even though they're at different junctures in their career, they both need this win.
Nice cross-side position by Fukuda.
Fukuda passed that guard with a punch, and that was nice because he punched, then he stepped over and got side mount.
And I think you will have to give Fukuda the grappling advantage, especially when you hear that he's trained with Team Krabaka going for the arm triangle choke now on Villasenor, trying to turn into it. One of the great Japanese grapplers, Sine Kikuta, one of his trainers. And in the first minute, you see Fukuda working on achieving a arm triangle choke in the early stages against Villasenor. Good escape by Villasenor. Houdini would have been proud of that one.
Fukuda didn't have the arm all the way over next to the neck. And Joey waited and sprung back up, and he almost set it up with a knee once he got to his feet.
Nice uppercut by Fukuda. Although he's staying in the pocket, this is where Villasenor would like to keep this fight.
But does Villasenor want to be at the end of those punches by Fukuda?
Absolutely not.
Fukuda getting the better of this dirty boxing exchange in the clinch. Nice body kick by Fukuda. Really rocking Villasenor's body with those shots. And again, going to the tie clinch.
Fukuda landed 2 hard left hooks to the liver, and that will pay dividends later in the fight.
And a liver kick to boot. Villasenor misses with the jab. You see a mouse developing under the right eye of Fukuda, so Villasenor has landed as well. And a great job there by Fukuda with the body shot into the double leg takedown against the fence.
Yeah, again, he sets the takedown up with the punch.
Villasenor sprawled perfectly, but Fukuda turned the corner and got him on his back.
Nearing the midway mark of round number 1. Looking to pass the guard one more time is Fukuda. Underhook being employed by Villasenor now on the bottom as you see Fukuda posturing, and this will give him plenty of opportunity to rain down those bombs.
In the fighter interviews, I think the biggest problem that Villasenor faced in this bout was dealing with an opponent that would not quit.
Stephen, he told us that in the title fight with Murilo and Ninja Hua, Villasenor intimated that maybe he overtrained. They introduced a new training regimen at Greg Jackson Submission Fighting, and he felt that maybe he left it all in the gym. Well, Fukuda is definitely taking this fight away from him as well, as less than 2 minutes remain now in the opening round.
Fukuda has been the stronger, and he's always ended up on top, and he's never been in trouble yet. Joe has not been in trouble either, but he's on the receiving end of more shots.
There's a nasty goose egg, though, beginning to form over the right eye of Fukuda, and that's definitely an area you want to keep track of. As this fight progresses, will Villasenor be able to exploit it? Rocks him with the left.
Yeah, he is totally rocked. question is, can Villasenor keep his composure right here, gentlemen?
Reminiscent of Hua, Villasenor for the title fight, and Hua emerged victorious in that one. Things begin to settle down as we enter the final 60 seconds. Good head kick by Villasenor.
He told us when he fought Hua that when he had him in trouble, he got wild and he got over anxious. Let's see if he learned anything.
And it seems to me, Stephen, that he is composed in this fight, not letting it all out here in the early stages.
He's absolutely cautious when he needs to be and letting them go when he needs to.
Only problem I see right now with Villasenor is he is flat-footed.
Nice head kick again by Villasenor. And Fukuda trying to bounce around. Fukuda earned the advantage in the early stages of the round, but Joey Villasenor now coming back in the second half, although Fukuda lands another strike.
I think Villasenor is trying to catch his breath, and Fukuda's trying to shake out the cobwebs.
Smokin' Joe has to really be compact with his punches now. He can't afford to gas.
Final 10 seconds of what has been a highly entertaining opening round between Smokin' Joe Villasenor and Riki Fukuda.
Beautiful roundhouse kick at the end of the round.
Fukuda has side control here, and Villasenor just rolled out, and Fukuda had to cover up because that knee was coming. They end up brawling here, and we get a Muay Thai clinch, and Fukuda gets distance and cracks. Look, that kick to the body had to hurt Joe a little bit.
Well, how about that left to the face by Villasenor? Kind of a wash there, wasn't it?
It was a wash, but the body shot was harder. This was a great exchange at the end of the round. Both guys were unloading, and Villasenor really had Fukuda rocked for a second there, but they ended up shooting it out right here in the center of the cage.
Ending the round with a nice head kick. I think training with Greg Jackson and his conditioning coach is gonna tell the story here, gentlemen.
Fukuda, of course, with Phil Baroni in his corner, obviously has improved his striking as well.
Come on.
Middle stanza underway. Will they be able to maintain the pace of round number one? And will that goose egg over Fukuda's right eye become a factor, Stephen?
It may, but I believe Fukuda should use his wrestling and get this fight on the ground and work from the top position with strikes.
Nice elbow out of the clinch by Villasenor. Another head kick.
Riki may be the harder puncher and kicker standing, but he's getting caught with faster punches from Joe.
What should Villasenor follow up, though, when he lands that head kick or attempts to deliver the head kick? Should he not follow up with something?
A left hook, if you ask me.
He should follow up, but the problem is that Fukuda has got a great chin, so if he follows up, he leaves himself open for a counter strike.
Villasenor lunges with that left hand.
As tasty as a knockout would be for Joe, he's got to be patient here and really realize that this fight could go the distance because Riki ain't going nowhere. He's already hit him right on the button with everything he's got.
You heard the snap, crackle, pop of that head kick.
One thing's for sure, gentlemen, a couple more of those high head kicks and both of those eyes of Fukuda are going to be closed.
Joey's smart to use foot movement to stay out of the clinch, but now he's got a clinch.
And Villasenor, though, has to be very leery. He's got his hands very low here, Stephen. I mean, he's really keeping himself open. You see the compact stance by Fukuda, keeping his arms up and lands an uppercut. Into the body lock now, looking for the takedown is Fukuda. And that's what I was speaking to, Stephen. Villasenor leaving his hands way too low.
He left them low, but he got hit with the uppercut, so it really wasn't a problem. In here, we got the over-under clinch up against the fence. Fukuda is going to want to trip him and get him to the floor. The knees coming to the side are mainly going to be a pest because those slap side knees, you can't really hurt a guy. You need to throw a knee straight up to the center to do any real damage.
Those are some solid body shots, though, from Fukuda.
Fukuda resorting to any means necessary, again attacking the body. and even a knee to the hip.
And one thing's for sure, if Villasenor is tired, those are definitely going to take effect.
Villasenor trying to create separation.
This is the best position for Riki Fukuda because he's out of the range of those long-distance punches and kicks that were hitting him early in the first and now the second round.
Steve Mazzagatti saw enough, calls for the break. Really impressed with Fukuda's stance. Joey Villasenor seems to be tired, mouth is open, hands are low, but comes back with a left hook. I still think he is leaving himself open, or do you think he's baiting him, Steven?
I think he's baiting him, but he's staying out of range.
Baiting and eating.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. He got his breakfast and his lunch fed to him right there.
Now that's dirty boxing if I've ever seen it, gentlemen. From both of them.
I don't know if Tide could get the stains out of that dirty boxing, my friend. They were getting up close and personal in that exchange as we are getting very close to 90 seconds left in round number 2. A hard-hitting war of attrition here between Riki Fukuda and Joe Villasenor.
That was a pretty right hand by Villasenor.
Now he's got the full body lock, and Villasenor should turn the tables here and try to secure the takedown, but he lets it go, Stephen.
I think it's because he's getting tired. At this point, Fukuda's got a little bit more left in his gas tank. Joe's got to catch his second win.
Mazzagatti calling for action. A Greco-Roman clinch along the fence.
Stop.
And another good job by the referee into the final minute of round 2.
Fight.
Fatigue becoming a factor, boys?
Yes, for both guys.
And I'm really surprised, especially about Villasenor coming out of Greg Jackson's camp.
Good punch-kick combination by Smokin' Joe.
I think that the fatigue is also a factor from the body shots.
And Steven, wouldn't it be smart of Fukuda to start to begin to try to time those kicks because they're almost telegraphed by Villasenor? Shouldn't Fukuda prepare some kind of a counter?
Well, the problem is that Villasenor is using just enough ring movement to stay out of range. That's where the problem lies. He's not standing flat-footed, he's staying right out. Now, that was a beautiful body kick.
Yeah, he walked into a right hook, though, did Fukuda, and now he catches a kick. Villasenor in the turtle position. Fukuda with 5 seconds left will not be able to send a flurry. And another frenetic end to round 2. Tremendous fight so far between Fukuda and Villasenor.
You know, that was interesting, guys. Fukuda used the ankle brace to take Villasenor down.
Joey landed some good shots, especially that body. Oh, that was right to the head. And Riki took that right up to the temple, but shook it off. Fukuda had to pay him back, though, and it was a crisp left hand that set up the clinch.
Bill, you brought up a great point. Those head kicks are beginning to start to take a toll on the left eye, Fukuda as well. And let's face it, guys, you can't do much if you can't see.
There were some counter strikes there by Fukuda. Both guys getting a little bit tired. Joe trying to swing wild over the top, but Fukuda doing most of the damage with dirty boxing and a really good body attack.
Is Fukuda going to be pressured now, knowing there's only 1 round left, knowing that his face is being marked up? Do you think he's going to take some extra risks, wanting to try to finish this fight, knowing that, you know, one shot could really swell those eyes shut?
I think that there's that factor, and I think that he's got to forget about the stand-up game, get this fight on the floor.
All right, last round, guys. You ready?
He did his best work when he was on top while Joe was on the bottom.
All right, you ready? You ready? Bring it on, come on.
Smokin' Joe Villasenor, Riki Fukuda, both want to become players in the middleweight division. Smokin' Joe, of course, coming off a title loss against Murilo Ninjahua, who will be defending the Elite XC middleweight title in the main event against ruthless Robbie Lawler. But he's in a very tough struggle here tonight against a game Riki Fukuda, and again, back to the clinch they go.
But a win tonight from Villasenor will put him back in that spot that he was before.
It's amazing to me, though, that they really are at a stalemate in that clinch, Stephen. Neither have been able to secure the takedown.
It's true, Moro, and you would have thought...
Beautiful.
Man, look at this. You would have thought that Fukuda would have had the advantage in the clinch, but it hasn't been so.
And you would have thought Fukuda would go to the ground immediately also.
He hasn't tried to pick a leg once they get into the clinch.
Nice low kick by.
Beautiful left hand.
Pops a jab twice. Does Fukuda, and again now they just open up swinging for those proverbial fences.
You know, earlier we talked about Fukuda's fighting spirit, but Villasenor's displaying his own.
Absolutely, Bill, because he was getting pressed back and he ate a real solid left hand, but he fired back and ended with that high kick. One thing I must note, it's either Fukuda's chin is really solid or that right kick isn't as powerful.
A little bit of both?
I think he's clipping him right at the end of the range.
Nice counter there from Fukuda. Now we're beginning to see a little bit of the counterattack from Fukuda, and even initiates a kick of his own. Uppercut by Villasenor. You can hear the impact of each punch, kick, knee. Showcasing the grit of what is mixed martial arts. And now finally a shot attempt, and Fukuda, on what was really a sloppy shot, secures a takedown.
This was a really smart move by Fukuda. Standing, he was giving too much away. The quantity of strikes landing standing was to Smokin' Joe.
He is working hard for that full mount. Getting that, there we go, and the reversal.
Good job by Villasenor, timing it perfectly, using Fukuda's momentum as he was going to mount to secure the sweep.
No telling how many times he drilled that in the gym with Greg Jackson. Once you get mounted, start the buck and roll immediately.
Midway through the final round. A very close affair here in the middleweight division of Elite XC Uprising, Honolulu, Hawaii. Smokin' Joe Villasenor now working from the open guard of Fukuda.
Quite a seesaw battle. Who do you guys feel is in the lead now?
I think the Smokin' Joe is ahead right now because he's landed more shots.
I'm just thankful I'm not a judge.
We are thankful also.
After last weekend in England, I think anybody would be happy not to be a judge in mixed martial arts. Very close encounter here. Fukuda, very busy from the bottom. Definitely not clear-cut by any stretch of the imagination.
We're not seeing any guard work here from Fukuda. Fukuda pops back up. An attempted guard pass there by Villasenor.
Well, the last minute and 30 seconds in this fight, very pivotal for both of their careers.
Nice left hand by Fukuda through the guard of Villasenor, bouncing off his forehead.
And there was the timing of the kick as you were talking about, Quadros.
Yep. Fukuda is pretty much punching singular. He needs to throw combinations because that's where Joe is beating him in every combination. Every time they slug with each other, Joe ends up punctuating the end with a left hook or a high kick.
Final minute of this mixed martial arts fight between Smokin' Joe Villasenor and Riki Fukuda. Will it end with a bang or will they take it to the judges? Nice left hand by Fukuda. And Villasenor gets his head jacked again.
But Joe is shaking off those shots. He hasn't been staggered yet.
And we've seen Fukuda staggered in this fight. Half a minute left.
30 seconds, Joey.
We've seen the punches, kicks, and knees crash into each other like the waves crashing in to Waikiki Beach. But Steven and Bill, are we going to see an electrifying knockout, or do you think this one is going to the scorecard?
I think it's going the distance, guys. These guys have taken the best from the opponents tonight, and I think with 8 seconds to go, it's going to go to the decision.
All those high kicks have been blocked, too. I mean, that hurts, but all those right high kicks have been shielded by Fukuda.
A hard-fought matchup between Fukuda and Villasenor, both of them with their arms raised. It'll come down to the three judges to determine a winner, and Fukuda not wanting to leave anything out of his arsenal, doing some push-ups a la Big Papa Pump.
Well, all that energy he had doing those push-ups, he should have put into doing punches against Villasenor, because I believe Joe has got this fight.
Meanwhile, back in the dressing room, ruthless Robbie Lawler taking it all in, just getting ready, trying to mug for the camera a little bit. He knows what's at stake later tonight. Wants to turn that Icon Sport middleweight title into the Elite XC middleweight championship.
Fukuda knew that he needed to get busy, so he set up this takedown with a couple of punches and got Joe on his back. And he started to work a little bit of ground and pound, needed to posture up, started to pass the guard and get side control. But as soon as he goes for the mount, this move is incredible. He goes for the mount, and it was as if Joe knew that he was going to do that, because this reversal is textbook. Once he gets that mount, Joe flipped him right over. Here it is again. As soon as Fukuda gets the mount, we got a buck and roll, and Villasenor on top, ready to do his own ground and pound. Beautiful move by Joe.
Will Smokin' Joe get back into the win column, or does Riki Fukuda's year-long winning streak continue? Let's make it official now with Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Richie Cabinian scores about 29-28 in favor of Joe Villasenor. Judge at ringside, Mike Onzuka scores about 29-28 in favor of Riki Fukuda. And our judge, Kyle Takao, scores about 29-28 in favor of the winner, Smokin' Joe Villasenor.
Not a popular decision here in Hawaii, but Steven, you gave it to Smokin' Joe, and no matter which way you cut it, again, a very close fight and another split decision here tonight. This one goes to Smokin' Joe Villasenor, and let's find out. I'm sure he's going to be heaving a huge sigh of relief. Here's Smokin' Joe with Bill Goldberg.
Joey, you and I talked before, and we all know how disappointed you were with your last loss against Ninja, but how does it feel to get back in the win column?
It feels great. You know, I mean, a lot of people didn't know who Riki was, but he obviously showed that he belongs here. Tremendous heart and a great opponent, and I was just thankful to have competed against someone so tough.
Back and forth seesaw battle. Congratulations. Now we have a presentation from TJ Thompson, Elite XC and president of Icon Sport, for the winner, Joey Villasenor. Let's hear it for Joey Smokin' Villasenor!
So Smokin' Joe Villasenor rallies to win an exciting seesaw battle by split decision over Riki Fukuda. Great crowd on hand here in Hawaii. We've seen a lot of power, a lot of thunder, and in fact, we even saw the Thunderbirds earlier this week.
That is a display of power, a lot like we've seen inside the cage tonight, Murilo.
Looking forward to seeing more power coming up. And this power, in fact, could be, well, from the female variety. Some female fireworks are coming up here at Elite XC Uprising. It's going to be Gina Carano versus Tonya Evinger. Evinger may be relatively new to mixed martial arts, but what she lacks in experience, she more than makes up for with pure guts. This world-class wrestling phenom has added boxing to her MMA skill set, and tonight she plans to stand tall and deliver a knockout message to MMA's resident knockout, Gina Carano.
Tonya Evinger, Odessa, Missouri. It's like natural to me, you know. I grew up fighting and wrestling around with my brothers, and my older sister was always 3-on-1, so, you know, I was used to it, used to all that roughhousing. If I lose to a girl, I think I'm just gonna sit on the mat and cry, because, I mean, I beat guys all the time. I can't lose to a girl. My fighting style right now, I'm just really unorthodox. I hit hard, I have heavy hands, my wrestling's great. I can fall back on it anytime. Gina's relying on me standing up. I'm down to bang, but I've never been rocked by a girl yet. this fight's gonna be great for me. I want to win. I want to beat her. I want to knock her out. You know, I want whatever I can get.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making her way to the cage of Elite XC, please welcome Tonya Evinger.
Well, to say Tonya Evinger was a tomboy growing up in Missouri would be a vast understatement. When she wasn't beating up her brothers on the farm, this young lady was beating the boys on the wrestling mat in school. In fact, she was so good at it that her high school refused to let her compete during her senior year. Now, Gina Carano's ground game has yet to be seriously tested. Bill, is this the lady to do it?
All right, you just said it. Evinger's got it all, and when it comes to wrestling, if anybody in this division can take Carano to the ground, it's her. But will her statement that she wants to stay in a trade with Carano be a means to an end?
My answer to that is yes, because I believe that Tonya standing with Gina is a suicide mission.
Evinger's opponent, Gina Carano, has enjoyed a meteoric rise in mixed martial arts. Since her debut just over 1 year ago, she's graced the pages of myriad magazines and has been the object of a media firestorm. While her personal charisma has led to plenty of publicity, it's her ferocious striking skills and determination inside the cage that have proven to be an unbeatable combination.
Gina Carano, Las Vegas, Nevada. When I was fighting back with, those boys in, high school and junior high, there was no referee around to blow the whistle, so you gotta learn how to just fight. I love to fight because it's real, it's honest, and I know who the opponent is, and I think that in life, I can never tell who's the good or bad guy. At least in the ring, I know, okay, that's my opponent, that's a bad guy, that's who I gotta get. For the fans, I'd like to see them see me and her just bearing our heart out there with no excuses and going for it.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gina Carano.
In attendance tonight, her father, Glenn Carano, a backup quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys from 1977 to 83, was part of the Cowboys Super Bowl 12 winning team in 1977 here in Hawaii to cheer on his daughter. Gina Carano, considered female MMA's poster girl, and while she's grateful for all the attention, it is her fighting ability that she's most concerned with. And on that note, she recently joined the All-Star Camp of Extreme Couture in Las Vegas.
And during our interview with Gina, she stated that she's currently on a 50-50 training split between striking and grappling. Quadros, could working with the likes of Couture be the X factor in elevating her game to the next level?
Oh, I would say definitely. Working in a gym environment like Extreme Couture will definitely help her MMA game, but I feel because she's so good at standing, she should concentrate 100% of her energies on the ground.
Ditto.
Let's go to the tail of the tape for this female matchup. At a contracted weight of 140 pounds, Gina Carano, 25, a year younger than Tonya Evinger, an inch taller than her opponent. Gina Carano weighed in at 141, Evinger 139.5. And you take a look at their styles, the story surrounding this fight. Gina Carano at the weigh-in, struggling to make weight, was dehydrated, almost collapsed to the weigh-in, and it's going to be interesting to see how much she's been able to recover here 24 hours later against a stiff test in Tonya Evinger.
You know, we talk about that training split with somebody as versed in the stand-up game as Gina Carano. These fighters really don't like to get out of their comfort zone, do they?
No, they don't, and let's see if they stick in their comfort zone.
At this time, Elite XC presents a women's MMA special attraction made possible by Rockstar Energy Drink, Fairtex, and One More Round. At this time, we introduce to you our referee in charge of this bout. He'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Mario Yamasaki. All right, fans. Here we go, 3 3-minute rounds scheduled. Introducing to you first, on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 7, she weighed in at 139 1/2 pounds. Raised in the time-honored disciplines of wrestling and boxing, her record stands at 5 wins, 1 defeat, with 4 knockouts and 1 submission to her credit. Hailing from Lee's Summit in Missouri, please welcome Tonya Evinger. And her opponent across the cage on my right. Fighting out of the red corner, standing 5 feet 8 inches, she weighed in at 141 pounds. With a background of Muay Thai and boxing, she is undefeated in her campaign with a record of 4 wins, no losses, 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Extreme Couture, please welcome the sensational young star of women's MMA from Las Vegas, Nevada, introducing Gina Carano. Once again, our referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki, now to give instructions.
All right, ladies, I already gave the instruction in the locker room. I want you guys to do a clean fight, follow my orders at all time. You have any question? All right, touch gloves. Good luck.
We should reiterate again, 3 3-minute rounds in the distaff division. The undefeated Gina Conviction Carano taking on Tonya Evinger. Carano's made history for the female mixed martial arts game. Will Tonya Evinger spoil Gina Carano's party here tonight?
And Evinger's another one that says that she wants to continue working on her stand-up game so she can be a more exciting fighter. We'll see if that's the end of her.
Evinger already landing a right hand and a takedown into side control on Carano, and this is one place where Gina Carano admittedly does not want to be.
No, she doesn't, and it's interesting to me, all the hyperbole before this fight from Tonya was that she was going to stand and trade, took her right down.
I think she had the quote of the press conference when Evinger said, I'd rather make out with Gina Carano, but instead I'm going to have to knock her out.
And I'm not going to touch that one with a 25-foot pole, Moro.
Look for the mount there and continues to control Carano. Again, this is Tonya Evinger's bread and butter, a world-class female wrestler. Let's not forget, she used to beat the guys.
Yeah, but wrestling is one thing. Does she possess the submission skills?
No, she doesn't, because all of her wins have been by TKO. So if she gets mount, it's going to be a big problem for Gina.
Gina controlling now, trying to get out there as Evinger's going for a guillotine choke from the half guard. I don't think that's the way you want to secure it, though, is it, Steven?
No, but it's going to be a problem because if Gina doesn't know how to properly defend, Gina's turning to the side, so she's relieving the pressure.
We're going to see if her work at Extreme Couture paid off.
Guys, I really have to wonder just how much, again, it takes a lot for Gina Carano to get down to 140 pounds. We saw a different look of Gina Carano even before the entrance. Good sweep by Carano here. And we'll see how much energy she's expended, popping her head out. And now she finds herself in half guard of Evinger.
More than a sweep, Tonya Evinger tried to pull guard into a guillotine choke, didn't have the right position, and Gina popped out.
And now Carano landing some lefts and an elbow. Now controlling against the fence in the final minute.
Those elbows are definitely going to take their toll.
Evinger with the headlock now. Carano's got her back, and what can Gina Carano do here?
Well, she should put the leg hooks in, go for the rear naked choke, and that's what she's doing.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Gina Carano looking to get a rear naked choke on Tonya Evinger.
We've seen dirty boxing, but now we're seeing dirty jiu-jitsu.
Well done, Steven.
Watch the back of the head.
Gina needs to start unloading with shots because she doesn't have the right position. She doesn't have the left leg hook in. Tonya, now she does. Gina should go for that choke.
Is Evinger going to survive? Oh, it's over. Gina Carano submits Tonya Evinger.
Wow, I am impressed. Gina got taken down and finished the fight on the ground.
The fight lasted about as long as Lindsay Lohan's last stint in rehab, but a sigh of relief for Gina Carano. Were you surprised that Carano was able to submit Tonya Evinger?
Well, I said it before, Moro. It was dirty jiu-jitsu, and Tonya pulled one of the dirtiest guillotine chokes. Didn't have the position. Gina got on top, finally got the back control she needed, got more of a judo choke around her throat. Tonya had to tap out, and it was seconds left in the round.
A father and daughter reunion in the cage here as Glenn Carano hugging his victorious daughter Gina. Celebration again in the Carano camp. So Gina Carano picking up her first submission victory. A lady of first here in female mixed martial arts.
That's a big win for her. Getting that submission. Okay, and here's the key to victory, because Gina does a real good flip over here. Tonya was trying for something. She was trying for a guillotine. She pulled into it, but Gina had her chin up and popped out of this thing. There was really never a threat there. Tonya really didn't have a lot of confidence in that move. And let's look at that again. Second look. Gina, look how patient she is here. Even though she had that weight cut, she really was focused on this, wasn't in trouble here. Tonya didn't have a proper position here, especially with the guard. She only had half guard. And here we have the submission here. Gina finally gets that left leg hook in and gets that arm around the throat. There goes the left leg, and there goes the left arm around the throat. Tonya's got no choice here. Doesn't know how to defend. Has to tap out.
Sporting the Princess Leia hairdo, the submission force was with Gina Carano. We will indeed make it official with Jimmy Lennon Jr. As Glenn Carano erupts in celebration. I know for a fact that Glenn is always very nervous when his daughter fights, and of course, as any parent would be, but Gina Carano, a smiling young lady now, and the reason for it is, well, let's turn to Jimmy Lennon Jr. to tell you why.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 53 seconds in round number 1. A rear naked choke ends this contest as the fighter taps out. She is the winner by way of submission and still undefeated, Gina Carano.
How much more is it going to hurt for Evinger knowing that she lost in the final seconds of the round? Let's go to Bill Goldberg standing by with Gina Carano.
I'm getting beaten up by Gina up here, but you know what? Congratulations, Gina. A lot's been said about you being the face of women's MMA. A lot of pressure on you. We know you like to knock people out, but how cool is it for Gina Carano to get her first submission?
Oh my gosh, that was my first submission ever. That was amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here for that. What's up, Hawaii?
You know, we've seen you knock people out, but now I'm gonna have you look at the Jumbotron and talk us through your submission.
I don't even know what was going through my head. I was just like, I just want to choke her. I just want to choke her until she doesn't breathe anymore. Why won't you die?
Now there is the warrior spirit. And now here's Doug DeLuca, CEO of Pro Elite, with a presentation to the winner, Gina Carano. And let's hear it for the women's face of MMA, Gina Carano!
Carano went fishing for a submission and landed a 140-pound rear naked choke here at Elite XC Uprising.
Make it all worth it for me, and I want to thank God and my family for always being there for me and making the person out of me that I am today, and especially my corner people and all the people that just support me.
And how about that guy right there?
And that crazy lunatic, how does he get in the cage every time? I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mom.
There we go, Gina Carano!
Talk about perseverance, talk about resiliency. After seeing her at the weigh-in, I didn't know if we would see this picture, but wow, what a role model, what a hero. Gina Carano pulling it out here tonight.
I was really impressed with Gina's composure, especially when she had her back to the floor. It was as if she'd been there 1,000 times, but we know that she's only been there about 10 times.
All right, it's time for the next fight of the night. 160-pounders will be getting set to enter the cage as the debuting Nick Diaz squares off with Hawaii's own Iron Mike Aina. Aina was born and raised in Hilo, and tonight in front of his family and friends, he gets the biggest opportunity of his career. The BJ Penn product will need to be firing on all cylinders if he hopes to pull off what would be a monumental upset.
Iron Mike Aina, welterweight, Hilo, Hawaii. I think I actually watched my first fight here at the Blaisdell, which is kind of funny. You know, growing up in Hawaii, you know, you gotta learn some kind of self-defense. You know, we're always fighting growing up. You know, we got a problem, you know, you settle it fighting. It's some pressure, you know, fighting at home. It's a lot of people supporting me. A lot of people in Hawaii look up to me, and you know, I'm just really making everyone proud. This fight's my first high-profile fight. I think Nick Diaz probably underestimated me. You know, as soon as he punches me, I'm punching right back. You know, every punch he lands, I'm gonna land too. This fight could end the way I want it to end. You know, it'd be a big punch and knocking his ass out. That's how it would end.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the cage, Hawaii's own Iron Mike Aina.
Draped in the colors of the state flag of Hawaii, Aina receiving a hero's welcome from this partisan crowd. In his Elite XC debut, he's definitely facing a baptism by fire. The question is, Bill, can he avoid being burned?
You know, even the casual fan knows that anything is possible in mixed martial arts, and I gotta tell you, working with BJ Penn is always a bonus. But what really stands out in my mind is the fact that this guy's never been knocked out or submitted. Can tonight be the night?
Maybe. BJ has an incredible amount of confidence in Mike Aina. As a matter of fact, it was BJ who gave Aina the nickname Iron Mike after they sparred together, and Penn felt firsthand Aina's punching power. To be successful against Nick Diaz, Aina has to get in close and turn this into a brawl.
Well, his opponent tonight, Nick Diaz, attended the proverbial school of hard knocks. And while many would see him as a man with a chip on his shoulder, he feels he's simply been misunderstood. What's not hard to understand are his superb skills, be it striking or submissions. Nick Diaz delivers.
Nick Diaz, welterweight, Stockton, California. I think it's gonna feel good fighting here in Hawaii. I love Hawaii. It's always been like sort of a place I never thought I'd ever be able to come. When I met Cesar Gracie, I started learning really solid jiu-jitsu, and I was really proud of what I was learning, and I could beat anybody with it. There's people out there I know they can't beat me, but these guys are ranked higher than me, so we gotta find some way to get some of these guys to fight me. I just want to win. I'd like to go home with a victory.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the cage of Elite XC, please welcome Nick Diaz.
He is one of Elite XC's marquee acquisitions. Nick Diaz, sure, he's courted controversy in the past, but this guy can straight up fight. He's coming off a 6-month suspension for testing positive for marijuana following a sensational victory over Pride lightweight champ Takanori Gomi in Las Vegas. While that bout was ruled a no contest, the memory of Diaz submitting Gomi with a go-go plata will forever live in the minds of those who saw it.
Guys, one thing I can guarantee is that after a 4-6-month layoff, Diaz is going to enter this ring and want to rip Aina's arms right off his body.
And if he wasn't mean enough, that's going to be a lot of motivation. But Mike doesn't seem concerned because he knows Nick's temper can sometimes be his own worst adversary.
They will be squaring off at a contracted weight of 160 pounds. Let's take a look at the numbers for this matchup between Nick Diaz and Mike Aina. Aina's 2 years older than Diaz. Diaz definitely has the reach advantage. Both of them weighed in at 160.5 pounds. And Diaz, of course, the boxer, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. With Aina, it's kickboxing and Jiu-Jitsu. Let's go now to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elite XC presents at this time an MMA showdown at a catch weight of 160 pounds, made possible by Rockstar Energy Drink. And at this time, we present our referee in charge of the action, Steve Mazzagatti. All right, fans, here we go. 3 5-minute rounds scheduled. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 9 inches. He weighed in at 160.5 pounds. This tough as nails MMA fighter joins us with a background of kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and has compiled a record of 9 wins, 5 losses, and 1 draw, with 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Representing Penn's Training and Fitness Center, hailing from Hilo, Hawaii, please welcome Iron Mike Aina. And his opponent across the cage, ready to go on my right, fighting out of the red corner, standing 6 feet even, he weighed in at 160 pounds. Raised in the disciplines of boxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, his record stands at 14 wins, 6 losses, 1 no contest, with 7 knockouts and 5 submissions to his credit. Representing Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and tonight making his anticipated Elite XC debut from Stockton, California, introducing Nick Diaz. And once again, here's our referee in charge, Steve Mazzagatti.
All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. We want a good, clean, fair fight. You need to obey my commands, protect yourself at all times. Hook them up. Good luck.
Blaisdell Center in Honolulu, Hawaii, awaiting this much-anticipated debut for Nick Diaz. But Iron Mike Aina is hoping to do to Diaz what Appalachian State did to Michigan in the opening weekend of college football. Can he do it? We're about to find out.
And what a big jump in competition for Aina. Anything can happen.
Aina's coming in confident, though.
Nothing to lose.
Diaz's last opponent was Gomi, and he beat him, but Aina said that he feels that he's a harder puncher than Gomi.
He's brought a lot of boxing guys in, a lot of southpaws.
Goes without saying, Aina has to keep this one close. He has to get the advantage inside with the dirty boxing, but with Nick Diaz, easier said than done. Nice shoulder strike by Diaz. Finding his rhythm here early, delivering some knees as the two come apart. It looks like we have a wardrobe malfunction for Mike Aina.
All right. Time, fight.
We can already see his boobies.
I like how Mike Aina goes low then high, body then head. He's really mixing up his levels of strikes.
Good technical boxing skills.
You think the 6-month layoff, the forced hiatus, has hurt Nick Diaz any?
It's too early to tell, really.
Cardio-wise, I'd say absolutely not because of the triathlons and the Ironman he's been doing. But, you know, and him training at the gym all the time with his brother and everybody else there, I think it's kept him on top of his game. But ring rust, we'll see.
Aina tags him with the right hand. Good job of avoiding Nick Diaz momentarily. Diaz has him pinned along the fence.
Right now, I'm liking Aina in the standing mode. He's giving a lot of angles, really hard to hit, and he's landing, especially to the body.
Let's not forget, what Iron Mike Aina has sacrificed to be here tonight, making his Elite XC debut. He's put off his honeymoon, guys. He was married in August, but getting a chance to fight here on Showtime against Nick Diaz. He must have a very understanding bride.
Yeah, apparently. Got the call 7 weeks ago, and he just jumped on it.
And he just tagged Diaz with a right hand.
Diaz is kind of sleepwalking right here.
A somnambulant Nick Diaz.
What?
What he said.
I don't think Quadros can say that.
Knee strike up the middle by Diaz, but you're right. Diaz seems to be very methodical, a little flat-footed, but now trying to pick apart Aina. But Aina doing what he needs to do now, delivering all kinds of bombs at Nick Diaz.
Aina connected with a big right hand, but it didn't even stagger Diaz. We know Diaz can take a shot. We knew that after his fight with Gomi, because Gomi hit him with everything.
Nick Diaz has been involved in some of the more memorable mixed martial arts contests. Diego Sanchez, Caro Parisian, and of course, his last fight against Takanori Gomi in Pride Fighting Championships final show in America.
But let's be honest, gentlemen, to me it didn't look like that was the normal Takanori Gomi.
It was for about the first 2 minutes, and then he got out of gas.
You saying you'd like to see a rematch between Takanori Gomi and Nick Diaz right here in Elite XC?
Especially here at Elite XC. But I'll tell you what, Diaz has got to get through Aina first.
I think there may be a little bit of machismo. Knowing how good Diaz is on the ground, he seems to want to make a point standing, because realistically, I think he should take this fight to the floor.
Neutralizing Aina's left arm, trying to pepper him with strikes, but look at Aina building confidence, delivering with authority.
That was a slip.
Yeah, Diaz doesn't look phased at all. It looks like he's just being methodical in his attack.
But he's got to be careful. It's about effective striking, and Aina has been able to land periodically here in round one, while it looks like Nick Diaz wants to just get the round under his belt, Steven.
Yeah, but he landed a couple shots about 10-15 seconds ago. He landed a sneaky left uppercut, and it looks like Aina is fading just a little bit from the pace.
And Bill, you know that Diaz can maintain this pace for 3 rounds after what you just mentioned, finishing third in a triathlon in California. High-level athlete.
And no question, when you have the cardio, you can afford to toy with your opponent at times, because you can go the distance.
And really, it's the cardio now, the world-class level of MMA, that separates the contenders from the pretenders. And Aina, very game athlete, staying in the pocket with Nick Diaz.
The problem for Aina is that Nick Diaz has such an incredible chin that he may only be getting warmed up right now.
And a very big reach advantage as well. And there, the tie clinch, knee up the middle. But it really just looks like, for Nick Diaz, it was almost a sparring round for him. He wanted to get his feet wet, come back after 6 months, feel out his opponent, and Aina wants to finish in a flurry.
You know, one thing that was said in the fighters' meetings that really surprised me, and since I was not there, what was it, guys? Well, you know, we're talking about the fact that Nick Diaz doesn't want to be the bad guy. He likes everybody in this business pretty much, but you know, from a casual viewer's perspective, every time he's the heel out there.
Well, you even heard the sparse blues for him coming here into Hawaii.
Mike Aina came out on fire in this one, ate some knees, but look, he comes blasting away. And Nick Diaz at first really didn't know what to make of this guy with all this shoulder movement and all these rolls. And later in the round, Aina turning his shoulder to Nick, and he just blasts away. Now watch the feet here. Aina with the knee. It was a little bit of a slip. Nick did throw a punch, but it wasn't a knockdown. Aina blasting away some more, but he's starting to get sloppy at the end of that round. Even though that knee landed, there wasn't a lot on it.
As Bill said, knowing that Aina has nothing to lose, it's really impressive to see him that he's leaving it all into the ring. He's taking the fight to Nick Diaz. Whether or not he's on the same level of Nick Diaz, well, again, time will tell.
That's Aina's game.
Well, one thing we don't want to see from Mike Aina, for his own sake, is that he already left it in the ring in the first round and doesn't have anything left.
It was Jens Pulver, I think, who said, I'd rather lose by knockout than win a boring decision. Mike Aina lives by that philosophy. Nice body kick by Diaz. And it doesn't appear that Diaz is in any kind of trouble, but just he's going along his business, and another glove problem for Mike Aina.
But there's a slight difference in this round. Diaz is coming forward. Diaz is the stalker.
Now Aina coming back, trying to rattle the cage, and he rocks Nick Diaz! The crowd erupts here in Hawaii!
A clean knockdown for Iron Mike.
And if that's not going to give Aina confidence, I don't know what will. He puts Diaz on his back, and now with this, wake up Nick Diaz and force him to push the pace.
The problem with that, though, is when you have a guy fighting Diaz, he may get over anxious when he sees Diaz in trouble. But Diaz can go a long, long time.
And he can come back and end a fight. Aina's got to be careful of that left knee in the clinch.
I'm very impressed with Iron Mike Aina so far. And according to our information that we've received, Iron Mike Aina won round 1 on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Interesting stat.
And it looks like he's winning round 2.
Iron Mike is explosive. He kind of crabs up and gets that left shoulder forward, and Nick should take advantage of that and throw a right low kick.
Diaz again eats another right hand, and this, Mike Aina, knowing that, you know, it's the highly anticipated debut of Nick Diaz. He's a fighter. He wants to make a name for himself in Elite XC. No better place to do it than in his home of Hawaii, and right now, he is definitely giving Nick Diaz a run for his money.
One thing that Nick Diaz does, he throws a lot of soft punches to gauge the reaction of his opponent. And then when he sees he doesn't react, he loads up.
I'm very impressed with Aina's power, guys.
And so far, it doesn't look like Diaz is doing enough to exploit his reach advantage.
No, he's not. I think Nick should try and get a Muay Thai clinch. Cup the head and bring that head down into the knee.
Knowing how much of a world-class fighter Diaz is, Bill, do you think Aina's getting into his head a bit, or?
No, I don't. He's been in this position many a time before. It's just a different guy that he's facing.
But Diaz is making an adjustment here. He's definitely trying to get this fight to the floor. And he should.
He has many tools in his toolbox, and you're right. So far in the stand-up, very close affair. Shoulder strike there. Aina doing a good job of restricting his arm. Now Diaz peppering the body with shots, trying to position him for the takedown, it seems, and instead wants to just dirty box with Aina, and Aina responds in kind.
Boy, Diaz is like a fly. He is always on you, doesn't give you any room to breathe.
Aina's got to be real careful of the guillotine.
And Diaz is constant. One thing about Nick Diaz is he's constantly moving, constantly throwing strikes. And while Aina wants to hit the home run, it's Nick Diaz.
Oh, great body shot by Aina.
But yet he's still getting picked apart by Nick Diaz, and that's something we shouldn't sell short. Nick Diaz is scoring with those strikes.
He is, and cardio will be the ultimate test in this contest.
Well, if that's the case, then we've got to lean towards Diaz here.
Diaz has been cut.
But Iron Mike fires back, and Nick has got to stop that, because Nick has got to know that with that knockdown, he's got to try and steal this round to be competitive in this fight.
Final minute of round 2. It's the jab of Nick Diaz, the power shots of Mike Aina. Aina has cut Diaz. He's knocked him down. Looking for the trip takedown was Diaz.
If Diaz just sat down and rolled, he could get him on the floor.
And that's exactly what he does.
But he's only got 30 seconds to deal with it.
It's plenty of time for the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wizard of Nick Diaz. We've seen it before, Bill, here. He's got them out, going for the back.
This is not good for Aina.
Will this be enough time? Diaz restricting the airflow. 10 seconds remaining in the round. Is Nick Diaz going to come back in this fight and seal it with a submission. The clock is his own worst enemy right now.
What a beautiful, beautiful 2 rounds.
Mike Aina came out on fire again, and he blasted Nick Diaz over and over. And wouldn't you know it, that Nick ended up on the floor via that right hand. Aina really moved in to finish, but he had to know he had Diaz in trouble. Iron Mike has got to know he's got Nick's number right now. He's getting impatient here, but once he gets that shot in, his confidence had to go through the roof. Now Diaz does a simple sit back and roll because he's been trying to get Aina on the floor all round long, and he finally does with only 30 seconds left. He just sits back and then he gets side control. Now Nick does some great work here, and he was really working towards that submission.
Iron Mike Aina, born on Christmas Day, is he on the cusp of receiving the biggest gift of his career? He could be 1 round away from upsetting Nick Diaz. But again, how did you score that second round? Because we had Diaz going for the submission at the end. He was knocked down earlier. But we had the strikes, the effective strikes, the peppering shots by Diaz, the power shots of Aina. Very tough, friends.
I'll tell you what, here's where the cardio comes in, man. If Diaz can stay in this, he's going to win the fight.
I think that second round was incredibly hard to score. I might give it to Aina because of the knockdown, because he controlled more of the round time-wise.
What does Diaz have to do a better job of here, knowing only 5 minutes left? What does he have to do to take this fight back?
He needs to get Aina on the floor, bottom line.
Pressure, 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 pressure.
Conversely, for Iron Mike Aina, the upstart here, the Hawaiian, on the verge of maybe the biggest win of his career, what does he have to do to maintain his confidence and not get too emotional, not start to pressure unnecessarily?
Well, he's got to stay out of the clinch of which he's in right now, and he's got to keep this fight standing. Because standing, all he has to do is move around. He's got such a weird peekaboo style. It's been frustrating Nick in the early part of this fight. But if it goes to the ground, as we saw, Nick was getting close to a submission at the end of round number 2.
I mean, it looks like Nick Diaz isn't even putting a lot behind those shots, but that's his style. He's landing every one of those strikes and scoring.
Well, what he's doing is trying to get Mike to react, and then he's going to counter that reaction.
And it's an annoyance.
It really is. Alexis Arguello, the great featherweight and lightweight champion, used to do the same thing. And as soon as he saw an opening, he would crack a hard shot and knock the guy out.
Nice elbow by Diaz. And he followed it up with an uppercut. Now a knee. A minute and a half gone in the final round.
In my eyes, gentlemen, Diaz cannot let this go to the scorecards.
I think Diaz is starting to pick up the pace, but Aina immediately responds. He eats an uppercut.
Bill, I agree with that.
Well, that makes me feel really good, Stephen.
Body shots by Aina, and these two are just taking turns, unloading on each other. What a fight in Hawaii!
Wow. Diaz should try and get double underhooks, get his hands locked behind Aina's back, and then take him to the floor.
And Aina's the only true native Hawaiian on the card tonight. What an unbelievable upset it would be for him to win here in his hometown.
Okay, there
he drops down a level, looking for the takedown. Good sprawl by Aina against the fence, trying to drop his weight.
Aina pushing the head down. Beautiful takedown defense there by Iron Mike.
Very impressive takedown defense against Cesar Gracie-trained Nick Diaz.
Don't let him out! Don't let him out!
BJ Penn has to be thrilled with the way this fight is unfolding.
I tell you what, win, lose, or draw, Mike Aina has opened a lot of people's eyes tonight.
And I think secured himself a pretty decent future with Elite XC. A lot of heart, a lot of determination. Nick Diaz making his highly anticipated debut. And really, you guys, what a year it has been in mixed martial arts. The year of the upsets. I know it's cliche, but this one, if it goes the way it may, could be one of the biggest ever.
It could.
Don't jump to it yet, Morrow.
there he
Taken
goes.
down by Diaz.
Now, Diaz has a minute 40 to get this thing done, and he's got the toolbox, as you said, Morrow. Plenty of submissions.
Minute and a half left, and there you see him, not wasting any motion. Diaz going for the back.
And as he closed the second round, he's closing the first round on top of Aina.
This is a problem for Aina.
A big problem.
Yeah, Diaz got both the leg hooks in, going for the rear naked choke.
And if you guys take note, Diaz is in his corner listening to his corner.
And in that corner, of course, is Cesar Gracie and Victor Galdon. And this could spell big trouble for Mike Aina. Again, the clock ticking down, less than a minute remaining in the fight.
I think the question in my mind is, if this fight does go the distance, even though Nick's got back control for the last minute and a half, is that enough to win the round? I'm thinking not.
A very close fight here between Nick Diaz and Mike Aina. It very well could come down to the final 30 seconds. Who is going to emerge victorious? Of course, the Native Alliance, they're booing because, well, Mike Aina's in a very precarious position, but you have to let a technician like Diaz paint his masterpiece.
And he do it with 10-15 seconds left.
Tenacious, heart, determination. Diaz going for the armbar underneath. Is he going to literally pull it out now? What a fight!
Fight's over, fight's over, fight's over, fight's over. Awesome fight.
Steven, it goes to the judges again. Mike Aina, regardless of the outcome, definitely incurring a moral victory here tonight in Hawaii, going the distance with Nick Diaz. What were your thoughts on Diaz's first fight in 6 months?
I think Nick Diaz may have taken Aina lightly before this fight. I'm sure he would never admit to that, but Aina stole round one. Round two was real close, and it could have gone to Diaz or it could have gone either way. Round three, I think Aina won more of the round if you go on only the time, so it's going to be really tough for the judges. Okay, round two was one of the most exciting rounds that we've seen. Aina came blasting away with that chopping right hand, and down went Diaz. Nick came roaring back. Boy, were they shooting it out here. But Nick, once he gets that ground control, he started working for that submission. Took his time, but it was a little bit too late to get anything done.
The 10-point must system has come under intense scrutiny in mixed martial arts lately. We're about to find out what it produces in this contest. Let's go back to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, before I read our score totals, we've seen an outstanding effort by both of these fighters. No matter who the winner is, they both deserve a round of applause. Iron Mike Aina and Nick Diaz. Well, fans, after 3 rounds of action, we have a split decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Richie Kabinian scores about 30-27 in favor of Nick Diaz. Judge at ringside, Mike Onzuka scores about 29-28 in favor of Mike Aina. And judge at ringside, Kyle Takao scores about 29-28 in favor of the winner, Nick Diaz.
Well, the cage attracting boos like a trailer park attracts tornadoes. Steven, really this speaks to the 10-point must system in MMA. I don't necessarily disagree with the result, but your thoughts on a split decision win for Nick Diaz?
It was obvious to me that the 2 judges that scored this for Nick Diaz felt that him being closer to finishing the fight was enough for him to get the victory.
All right, let's get to the victor. Here is Nick Diaz with Bill Goldberg.
Okay, guys, I'm here with both Nick Diaz and Mike Aina. Nick, you get the win. 6-month layoff, man. I know you wanted to get in here and do your thing. What do you think about your victory tonight?
Well, I don't like to make excuses, you know what I mean? Well, no, first off, I can say that everybody here on the island
really tough, you know, everybody. This guy right here, he's so tough, you know. But that's not, you know, the thing for me too was, I think in my head, you know, was that's what kind of happens, you know, when you don't know about your opponent and who you're fighting. I kind of got in here today and I couldn't really decide how I was going to go about beating this guy. I should have spent most of my energy trying to probably get the clinch and get the takedown. I knew I could probably pick him apart standing up on my feet though, but I did switch it back and forth. And that's what I was worried about. And I took a shot in there, and I played it safe. You know, I went down to my back. You know, I'm not afraid to being finished or controlled on my back. You know, from the footage I've seen on this guy, I wasn't afraid to take the safe way out. You've seen in my last fight too. You know, I take a shot, I go down, and use my guard to sort of defend. I feel confident I can make it back to my feet. Well, regardless, stay safe while I'm on the ground there. So not to make excuses, you know, today, but I also, you know, I don't like flying for very long like that. And, you know, this, it was a real dent in my momentum, this break I had.
Hey, man, hey, contrary to popular belief, you're a hell of a class guy, and you came out here and you showed your heart. Mike Aina, jump on over, my friend. The only native on the card. I don't know if he took it lightly, whatever. You said you hit harder than Takanori Gomi. You impressed a lot of people out here. I know you solidified a contract with the Elite XC, and if you didn't, by damn, I'm going to make sure you did.
Right on. Hey, how about another hand for Nick Diaz, though? Put in an awesome performance, and he's an awesome guy. You know, coming into this fight, I had a lot of I wouldn't say pressure, but you know, a fight in Hawaii, like they said, the only native on the card, and I take a lot of pride of where I'm from. I just wanted to make everyone happy here, you know, be proud of the Hawaiian fighters, and we got some tough guys out here, so hope the world knows that, and I hope I show that here tonight.
And hey, let's give a hand, first of all, for Mike Aina on his marriage. And second of all, let's give a big hand for both of these guys who laid it all on the line and gave you one hell of a fight. Real quick, please.
Yeah, I'd like to take a chance to thank all of my teammates at home, my partner here, Jake Shields, you know, it's going to be #1. My brother at home, good luck to my brother coming up. I want to say hi to Andrew and the Deftones back at home, and thank you, Ernie and John.
Get out of here.
Trace Stockton. Thank you.
Okay, now we got a presentation from Kurt Bradlinger and Eric Poulier of Pro Elite to the winner, Nick Diaz. Nick, jump on over. Let's hear it again for both of these wonderful fighters.
It has been an action-packed night. The biggest night in Hawaiian mixed martial arts history. Big crowd on hand at the Blaisdell Center. Split decisions. We've seen a first submission for Gina Carano in her embryonic MMA career. And of course, we are just on the cusp of making history once again here in Elite XC, as we are moments away from the main event. It'll be champion versus champion Murilo Ninja Hua getting ready. He's indeed a superstar, the first ever Elite XC middleweight champion, working the pad, Steven, getting ready to defend the title for the first time. And meanwhile, in the other dressing room, Robbie Lawler, maybe indicating a sign of things to come. Using his punches, trying to warm up as well. The Icon Sport middleweight champion, getting ready to defend, take on Murilo Ninja Hua for that Elite Extreme Combat title. Mixed martial arts is only one of the many great shows and events that Showtime brings you. Let's check out what's coming up.
What do you need? Death curse.
With a look in his eye.
The last thing Miami needs is another serial killer.
It's fed on nothing but full of pride.
Desert Monday. I'm back running what's mine again.
Look at him go, look at him kick. Makes you wonder how the others live.
That was fucking unbelievable. That goes fucking awesome.
There's bodies in those bags.
It's amazing.
Devil inside, the devil inside. Every single one of us, the devil inside.
times.
Showtime Championship Boxing returns Saturday, September 29th. WBC light heavyweight champion Chad Dawson defends his title against Adrian Diakonu. Friday, October 5th, Showbox The New Generation brings you a 10-round junior welterweight bout. Timothy Bradley faces former world champion Randall Bailey. Then on America's Fight Night, Showtime Championship Boxing presents the WBC Heavyweight Championship. Oleg Moskaev defends his title October 6th against #1 contender Sam the Sledgehammer Peter. Showbox returns to the ring Friday, October 19th with a 10-round lightweight fight featuring Darling Jimenez and Guadalupe Rosales. Mixed Martial Arts is back on Friday, October 26th with Show XC Elite Challenger Series. Friday, November 2nd, it's the 100th episode of Showbox The New Generation with the IBF Heavyweight Elimination Bout between Eddie Chambers and Calvin Brock. Saturday, November 3rd, it's more championship boxing as Juan Manuel Marquez defends his WBC Super Featherweight belt against Rocky Juarez. Saturday, November 10th, Elite XC returns to the cage. And Friday, November 23rd, Showtime Pay-Per-View presents a 12-round super welterweight attraction between former world champions Fernando Vargas and Ricardo Mayorga. For information on these events and all our programming on Showtime, we invite you to visit our website, sho.com. We are here on the island of Oahu in the spectacular Mecca of Merriment, Hawaii, as we get set for the main event of the night. There is nothing like the sights and sounds of Hawaii. Stephen Quadros, the fight professor, and Bill Goldberg. And Bill, here we are moments away from champion versus champion for the Elite XC middleweight title. And really the main event features contrasting personalities.
No question. When I was interviewing Ninja, I will never forget his passion after winning the Elite XC title. Seemingly, it was the most important night of his life. For Lawler, it's all about the fight. In the end, if his hands raised and he leaves with Ua's belt, that's just icing on top of the cake.
You know, Stephen, there are some subplots in this battle between champion versus champion.
Well, Lawler says that this is just another fight, but you can't really believe that because there is a true rivalry between these two camps because two of Lawler's coaches, both past and present, in Pat Miletich and Matt Hughes, have been defeated by a shootbox fighter. So, regardless of if he said it or not, he wants revenge. Ninja, on the other hand, has to stay in and out because he doesn't want to stand toe-to-toe with ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Well, we are getting set for the main event of the night. This is the one really everyone has been talking about. It is for the Elite XC middleweight title. The champion, Murilo Ninja Hua, taking on Icon Sports' top dog in the middleweight division, ruthless Robbie Lawler. For Lawler, it all comes down to two letters, K.O.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler, middleweight, Bettendorf, Iowa. About my junior year in high school, I started training with the Miletich fighting systems and all those great fighters, so ever since I've been doing it.
And this one is over!
Once the bell rings, it is a big deal. And I love competing, I love pushing myself to the limits and testing myself.
Robbie Lawler returns to glory in the middleweight division!
I'm not too worried about what they say. It's about what you do.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the cage in our main event of the evening, please welcome the challenger, Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
You know, Ruthless Robbie Lawler has fought everywhere around the world. In fact, if you put up a sign and it says fights tonight, you're more than likely to see Lawler in one of those bouts. He's tasted success in the UFC, the IFL, and Pride Championship fighting. Regarding tonight's title fight against Murilo Ninja Rua, the Icon Sport middleweight champ sent Ninja an ominous message when he told us, quote, "If Rua decides to stand for a little bit, that will be too long," end quote.
Other than that guy sitting right behind us, Phil Baroni, there might not be anyone in that 185-pound division that possesses more punching power than Lawler. After his win versus Trigg, he's hoping he can ride the wave of his recent success tonight.
Robbie has predicted a knockout maybe in the first round. This will definitely be a match up of Lawler's power versus Ninja's speed.
Ruthless Robbie Lawler about to step into the cage as Icon Sport middleweight champion. Will he leave as Elite XC middleweight title holder? His opponent, Ninja Rua, is a worldwide favorite in the sport of MMA, having competed in his native Brazil, Japan, and England. It is right here in the United States where he put it all together to become a champion. Tonight, he hopes to continue his reign atop the Elite XC middleweight division.
Murilo Ninja Rua, midweight champion, Curitiba, Brazil.
And the fight is over.
Murilo Ninja Rua becomes the first ever Elite XC middleweight champion.
Winning the championship title was one of the greatest moments of my life. Normally, fighters are nervous about defending the title, but I've been training very hard, and I feel very confident going into this fight. I'm very proud to represent my school, Judo Box. Militage has many great fighters, but I think the Judo Box is #1 in the world. Robbie is a very strong puncher. If I can't knock him out, I'll take him to the ground and get a submission. I love the fans in America, but I look forward to taking both belts home to Brazil.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the Elite XC middleweight champion, Murilo Ninja Rua.
Murilo Ninja Rua is in the midst of living his lifelong dream. Becoming the first ever Elite XC champion has really helped him begin to escape the large shadow of his younger brother, the preternaturally talented Pride superstar Mauricio Shogun. His brother recently marrying his fiancée Aina, getting ready for his Octagon debut, but I know he is cheering on his brother here tonight. But Bill, something that struck me as a little funny was the fact that Shogun told us that he thinks he's got more punching power than Robbie Lawler.
I don't think it's funny, but with all due respect to Ninja, I don't feel that his punching power is on par with Lawler. In my eyes, it's Ninja's versatility, his speed, his dynamic style that are his true weapons and his potential advantage.
I agree, Bill, because even though Ninja has improved his boxing, he wants to take this fight into the late rounds because he feels Lawler's cardio is suspect.
There's been plenty of buzz surrounding this Elite XC middleweight title fight. We're now just moments away. Let's go to the tail of the tape. The Elite XC middleweight champion, Murilo Ninja Rua, and Icon Sport middleweight champion, Robbie Lawler, who was 2 years older. They both stand 5'11". Rua weighed in 1 pound less than Lawler, who of course comes from Judo Box, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Lawler, he's all about the striking and the brawling. And let's now again reset the rules of combat for Elite XC. 3 judges score the fight based equally on striking, grappling, effective aggression, and cage control. Every round is scored on a 10-point must system. The winner receives 10 points, the loser 9 or less. There are no knees to the head of a grounded opponent. Only the referee can stop the fight. To culminate the biggest night in Hawaiian mixed martial arts history, it's time to introduce your 2 champions. Here once again is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Blaisdell Arena here in beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii, as Elite XC, in association with Icon and Rumble World Entertainment, present the featured bout of the evening, made possible by Rockstar Energy Drink and Hunter World Markets. At this time, we present our judges scoring this attraction from cage side, all from Hawaii: Richie Kabinian, Mike Onzuka, and Kyle Takao. Introducing to you our referee in charge of this bout, Mario Yamasaki. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 5-minute round scheduled for the Elite XC World Middleweight Championship. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and MMA fans joining us around the world, live from Honolulu, it's showtime! Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5 feet 11. He weighed in at 185 pounds. He's a dangerous mixed martial artist known as a striker and a brawler who has compiled a record of 14 wins, 4 losses, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout and 1 submission to his credit. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's challenger, the Icon Middleweight Champion, tonight making his Elite XC debut, fighting out of the Hit Squad from Bettendorf, Iowa, introducing the hard-hitting, ruthless Robbie Lawler. And his opponent across the cage on my right, the defending champion fighting out of the red corner, standing 5 feet 11 inches. He weighed in at 184 pounds. He's an all-around MMA fighter specializing in Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His record stands at 14 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, with 5 knockouts and 7 submissions to his credit. Representing Shoot the Box and hailing from Curitiba, Brazil, please welcome the explosive and defending Elite XC Middleweight Champion of the World, Murilo Ninja Hua. Once again, a referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki, now to give instructions.
All right, for the championship bout, I want you guys to follow my orders at all times, do a clean fight, touch gloves, and let's go.
Steven, in your Pride Fighting Championships career, you announced 2 of Murilo Ninja Hua's bigger fights, losing via split decision to Quentin Rampage Jackson and Dan Henderson. Ruthless Robbie Lawler, meanwhile, has that one-punch knockout power. Both these guys are champions. One will leave the Elite XC middleweight champion, who is going to take it to the next level.
I really don't know, Moro, but one thing is for sure, they both deserve to be here. That's a definite.
There you go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go, come on!
5-minute rounds for the Elite XC Middleweight Championship.
Oh, they know. They know that one punch will turn the outcome of this.
Lawler possesses lights-out knockout power. We've seen Ninja Hua stop Smokin' Joe Villasenor to become the Elite XC middleweight champion. But don't forget, Bill, as well, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu pedigree of Ninja.
I think a little bit of respect being shown here.
Nice takedown. And there's the wrestling of Robbie Lawler coming out of the Militich camp.
Yeah, and Hughes told us that they worked extensively on the ground game at the camp.
Of course, Matt Hughes, former UFC welterweight champion, in his corner. They have now formed the Hit Squad. Hughes intensive training near St. Louis. There's a right hook by Lawler. Ninja back on his feet, trying to get back in the game.
Ninja being the aggressor standing. He's got to keep his chin down, though.
He's got to keep his guard up also.
One of the things Ninja did at the early part of his career was leave his chin up just like that.
We've seen that as a habit of a lot of Brazilians. Ricardo Arona, a lot of Brazilian fighters with the Muay Thai, they do tend to leave their chins up, Steven.
Well, I think a lot of those guys come from the jiu-jitsu background because there's no strikes in, sport jiu-jitsu, so they don't have to worry about that. But once they go into Muay Thai, they have to keep the chin down.
Really a basic fundamental of striking, and Ninja Hua there, high kick, blocked by Lawler.
Looks like Lawler's kind of lulling Ninja into a comfort level on his feet there.
Nice low kick by Ninja Hua.
Lawler did say that he was going to take his time because he felt that the area that he's improved the most is in his conditioning, but Ninja didn't think so.
In talking to Matt Hughes, man, he says that now Lawler understands what a belt really means. He says he's matured a lot, he's got better conditioning, and he's really ready for this test.
And if you think that Ninja Rua, if he says he doesn't think that Lawler's conditioning has improved, then you would expect the Brazilian champion to press the action, push the pace.
Push the pace, yes, but save a little bit for later. And that's what he's doing. That was a good down right hand by Ninja.
Why do tomorrow what you can do today, Fight Professor?
Absolutely. Because that's what makes excitement in mixed martial arts when they go for it.
Midway through the opening round. Combination thrown by Rua.
Lawler's cutting him off, trying to impose his will now.
Yeah, Ninja is kind of single-shotting. He's not really throwing combinations.
Nice right hand.
Using an effective jab. Nice combination put together by Robbie Lawler.
That right hand by Robbie Lawler, especially his right hook, could be a problem.
See Rua attacking the lead leg of Lawler, the southpaw. Left hand gets through the guard. Into the clinch.
Watch the left hand over the top.
Ninja now pressing the action along the fence. Lawler able to circle out.
I think Ninja should go with a low kick a lot more here.
Definitely.
He just heard you.
And he read your mind.
Yeah, because you should stay out of the boxing exchanges.
He just ate a nice uppercut from Lawler, but answered right with a right hand.
Robbie Lawler doing a good job of controlling the octagon, cutting it off for the most part.
Ninja's doing well moving to his left, though.
Hope I don't get sued for that. There's an inside cut kick by Murilo Ninja Rua.
We should concentrate on kicking the legs of Robbie, because once Robbie starts worrying about getting his legs kicked, he's not going to move in and try and drop those heavy punches.
Rua's done a good job with those low kicks, like you said, Stephen, and he begins to resort again, but immediately Lawler putting together a nice combination. It's Rua single shooting, Lawler coming back with effective combinations. What do you score higher, the kicks to the leg or the combinations by ruthless Robbie Lawler?
I'm going to have to say the kicks to the leg are doing most of the damage, because what's going to happen, and that's going to hurt his leg. What's going to happen is Robbie's going to start thinking about his legs, drop his hands, and he's going to get caught with a punch. Ninja is executing perfectly here.
High kick by Robbie Lawler.
I think Ninja's seen a couple of those before.
Wanting to put an exclamation point on round number 1.
Lawler was moving around, but then when he got the body lock, he got this takedown into side control. But Ninja took his time and eventually got guard out of this position. So Lawler wanted to see what he could do here, especially with that right elbow. But Lawler had something else up his sleeve besides takedowns, and he throws that right hook, and it's slipping around the guard of Ninja. And Lawler kept it up, including a couple pretty hard shots with kicks, but it was blocked by Ninja.
No, they both talked about standing on their feet. Only 15 seconds of that round was spent on the mat.
Gotta love the exchange of gamesmanship there at the end too, and he blocked that high kick. Both of them giving their best Karate Kid impersonation.
Leave it to Mark.
Here you go, second round, you ready? You ready? Let's go!
I think that first round had a lot of ebb and flow to it, because Lawler was stronger at the early part, but I believe Ninja started gaining control near the end.
And Ninja comes out in round 2, beginning to press the action a bit again, going downstairs for that kick, beginning to work more on the lead leg of ruthless Robbie Lawler. Very sound strategy on the part of Murilo Ninja Rua. You take away that lead leg, you take away a lot.
Notice how Ninja's throwing a lot more jabs here. The idea is to throw the jab and Robbie doesn't know whether the right hand's coming next or the right low kick.
Is Lawler waiting to launch that heavy left hand?
Absolutely.
Lawler connects.
You better not wait too long.
Foot movement by Lawler, but still gets nailed with that kick, and he's not really checking a lot of those kicks.
No, he's not. He only checked one in the first round.
Single leg pickup, nice escape by Robbie Lawler, circling away, now hits him with the hard left hand.
Ninja's got to be sure to keep those hands up when they get in close like this.
Good right hook by Lawler.
Left elbow thrown by Ninja.
Ninja telegraphing that shot. Good sprawl. Really telegraphed it, and he rocks him with an uppercut. Ninja nods his head saying, okay, we're in. And now they're throwing caution to the wind here in round number 2.
That shot came all the way from Curitiba. Lawler saw it all the way from Iowa.
That makes sense.
Body shot by Hua.
Oh, beautiful tactic.
Hua coming forward. Going for the takedown again and against Robbie Lawler. Very sound wrestler, training with the likes of Matt Hughes. It's going to be a very hard task to achieve for Ninja Hua. Now Lawler unloading a left and right. Pressing Hua to the fence.
It looks like Ninja's getting a little bit tired, and it's the wrong time to do that.
Especially with 2:30 left in the round.
Halfway through this second round. Sustained action. Another elbow by Hua.
And do I see Lawler smiling?
Definitely. That devious smiles as if to say, remember what he said, you want to keep it standing for a little bit, it's going to be over soon. But so far, I think a lot of that was the hype and the gamesmanship. But he is definitely, I think, for the most part, getting the better of these stand-up exchanges.
I agree, and I believe he's like a spider spinning a web here. He's waiting for Ninja to throw shots, run out of gas, and then he's going to drop a bomb.
You can see Bill Ninja's lunging with a lot of his punches. Not a lot of power behind him. Now in the close quarters trying to put it together.
Arm shots. That's what you do when you get tired.
You talk about ebb and flow, Mr. Quadros. The pendulum of momentum to and fro. Lawler wants nothing to do on the ground.
What we're seeing here is the opposite of Ninja's prediction. He said that Lawler was going to run out of gas. I got Ninja getting tired here.
Ninja keeps trying to sneak that left elbow in.
This is exactly the kind of fight that Robbie Lawler wants. He loves the brawl. A takedown doesn't seem to be in the cards for Ninja right now. Not even close.
You think it's frustrating him that he can't take Lawler down?
Well, realistically, Lawler is the better wrestler of the two. Technically, Ninja is the better jiu-jitsu man. Problem is, you got to get a guy on the floor to do jiu-jitsu, with the exception of the standing guillotine.
Body kick by Hua. Follows it up with the left-right. Lawler avoiding most of that attack, and Lawler really just very methodical. Hua slaps another inside cut kick to Robbie Lawler. Final 15 seconds of this second round.
And remember, championship fights, and we got 5 rounds.
Will Robbie Lawler's conditioning last the 5 rounds? That's always been a question mark, but he does appear to be in tremendous shape. And again, knowing what's at stake, working with the likes of Miletich and now the Hit Squad, they're ready to go.
Ninja dropped down and shot for a takedown, but it was so telegraphed. Robbie almost didn't even have to sprawl. It just turned sideways and ended with a really nice punch combination. Ninja shook it off, but he knew it's going to take more than that to get Ruthless down. And is Hua getting tired? We're seeing him get taken down just off a simple standing ankle pick. Robbie compels him, get back up, come on, let's trade.
Well, we stated earlier, gentlemen, that this belt means everything to Hua. We'll see. Can he dig down deep?
He's going to have to dig deep, and he's going to have to catch his second win.
Meanwhile, Robbie Lawler giving the thumbs up sign, feeling that this fight is
Here you go, third round, you ready?
totally going the way he wants it to.
Let's go, come on!
Third round underway, scheduled for 5 for the Elite XC Middleweight Championship.
To me, Ninja has to downshift here, but Robbie Lawler is in cruise control.
But if he downshifts, does he take himself out of that shoot-a-box game?
The shoot-a-box game is an aggressive game.
Oh, great kick, punch combination by Lawler. And a Superman punch by Lawler.
As I said in the last round, the web is being spun by the spider, Robbie Lawler. He's setting a trap for Ninja.
Ninja continues to deliver those inside cut kicks, but does not follow up. Maybe trying to utilize it to set up the takedown, to take it to the ground, to utilize some of the jiu-jitsu, knowing that Robbie Lawler is a formidable force in the stand-up.
Robbie said that he was not worried about the jiu-jitsu, and he hasn't even been close to being tested by it.
Lawler's like a cyborg, just eating those kicks, just taking them.
Lawler finally starting to check those kicks. He's figuring out the timing on Ninja's leg attack.
And a high head kick by Lawler. Oh, beats Hua to the punch there. Jacks his jaw with a straight right. And Hua again comes forward.
And Robbie set it up with that left roundhouse kick to the body.
Hua goes downstairs to the body, is hit with an uppercut. Drops his hands momentarily, and now a combination by Lawler, beginning to pick apart Murilo Ninja Hua's on the canvas. Lawler swinging wildly, dropping one bomb after another. 2 minutes gone in this third round. Hammer fist, holy knockout, bam, bam. We've got a new Elite XC middleweight champion.
Whoa!
We have a new champion. Meanwhile, there is concern for Murilo Ninja Hua, as the crack medical team definitely tending to him, making sure that he's all right. But Steven, what a fight it was, and you were just waiting for that wick to be lit somehow, some way. Biding his time, ruthless Robbie Lawler beginning to pick apart Murilo Ninja Hua. Caught him, and he finished him via TKO. He is the second Elite XC middleweight champion, and the crowd erupting like a Hawaiian volcano.
We knew that Lawler was dangerous with his punches, but it was the kicks to the body that set up the opportunities and got Ninja's back to the fence, where Robbie finished him.
And a member of the hit squad delivering hit after hit. It's nice to see that Ninja Hua is sitting up. And what a fight it was, ending here in the third round. And he'll be helped up by members of Shoot-A-Box. And now Robbie Lawler going over to make sure that Ninja's okay.
Robbie just was moving forward, and there was that uppercut that set things up. Ninja didn't have an answer for the uppercut. And it was that left hand that kept landing with regularity. Ninja was folding right there, and when he went to the ground, it looked like it was already a beaten fighter. Robbie picked his shot with that huge overhand right and just blasting away. Ninja was a beaten man here.
What had been a very close fight up till that point ends in emphatic fashion. Ruthless Robbie Lawler becomes the new Elite XC middleweight champion.
Ninja's being helped out of the ring by Hujimar Federico, the trainer on the right, and Cristiano Marcelo, their jiu-jitsu trainer on the left. He really got beat up in this fight.
But it was a close fight heading into round 3. I don't know. I mean, Lawler was beginning to assert himself, but let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. Make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 4 seconds in round number 3. Our referee in charge, Mario Yamasaki, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of technical knockout and the new Elite XC middleweight champion of the world, Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Okay, guys, here we are with the new champion, Robbie. It looks like you're collecting some belts here in Hawaii. I talked to Hughes earlier. He said you had matured as a fighter, and I'll be damned if he wasn't right.
Oh, yeah, I've been working hard, just pushing myself to the limits, getting better. I knew I was going to knock him out. I came back at the end of the second. They were like, you got to go after him. I go, I'm knocking him out. Plain and simple. Thanks, Hawaii.
Okay, now here, if we look up at the screen, you're going to see the end of the match, the knockout.
He wasn't hitting me with any good hands. I was blocking most of them, and I just knew corner them and do what I always do when I come out here. What up, Hawaii? What up? Bam! Sit down, boy.
Okay, now here's Todd Facito of Hunter World Markets and Dave Marshall, chairman of the board for Pro Elite, with a presentation for the winner, and not to mention Gary Shaw, president of Elite XC, with the championship belt for your winner, Robbie Lawler! Okay, everybody. He's collecting belts here in Hawaii. Let's hear it one more time for the Elite XC champion.
Thank you, Hawaii. Thank you for the sport.
All right, Steven, what a memorable, electrifying main event here in Elite XC Uprising. You know, most people come to Hawaii to grab some sunshine. Ruthless Robbie Lawler comes to the islands to grab some gold.
He really set the trap for Ninja, and Ninja bought into it, but it was those kicks to the body. But man, that left uppercut really turned the tide in this one.
Earlier this year, we saw Robbie Lawler in Hawaii beat Frank Trigg for the Icon Sport middleweight title. And then tonight, here at Elite XC Uprising, as you see it here, Steven, Robbie Lawler, striking machine, rocks Ninja Hua in the 3rd round and takes him down and ends it with the hammer fist.
And it was a matter of power punching that could not be blocked. Like that uppercut. Man, that was vicious. When he smells blood, Ruthless Robbie will close the show.
And close the show he does, turning the lights out on Murilo Ninja Hua, sending the affable Brazilian back home to Brazil with a lighter suitcase as the Elite XC middleweight title is going back to the United States. Bill Goldberg joining us now once again, and Bill, obviously a main event in which everyone expected fireworks, and boy, did they get it.
I'll tell you what, Lawler lied to us. It looked like he was pretty excited to get that damn belt.
What were your thoughts on Murilo Ninja Hua in his first title defense?
You know, like I said, man, we all love Ninja. He's a great guy, great for the sport, hell of an athlete. You know, I mean, he trains with the best camp in the world. He's got to go back to the drawing board, come back out, and be the Murilo Ninja Hua we all love.
Steven, 2 split decisions on tonight's card. What's your take on the 10-point must system for MMA?
Well, I think the 10-point must system must have an amendment about who tries to close the show. That's got to be another criteria in the scoring.
And what about Gina Carano? First submission on her record.
Man, that was impressive because I thought that if she went to the ground, there was no way she was going to get off the bottom. She not only got off the bottom, she got the hooks in and got the choke in.
Biggest night in Hawaiian mixed martial arts history. Here are the results for Elite XC Uprising. We began with Jake Shields defeating Renato Verissimo via TKO in round 1. Smokin' Joe Villasenor got back on the winning track as he earned a split decision over Riki Fukuda. Gina Carano, yes, she may have struggled to make weight, but she definitely brought the crowd to its feet with a submission victory over Tonya Evinger. Nick Diaz, boy, you talk about controversy for Nick Diaz, earns a controversial split decision over Iron Mike Aina, and then ruthless Robbie Lawler closes the show, showing that he's indeed the law and order in Hawaii, beating Murilo in the 3rd round via TKO to become the middleweight champion for Elite Extreme Combat. Well, there's always great mixed martial arts and boxing action on Showtime Sports. For a look at these events as well as all the exciting programming available on Showtime, we invite you to visit our website at sho.com. Now for Bill Goldberg and Steven Quadros, this is Mauro Ranallo saying mahalo. Thanks for joining us. And aloha from Hawaii, Robbie Lawler, the new Elite XC middleweight champion.